wonder if we can see the board.
All right, what I want to do next is this. I want to look at some free response questions and consider how would we answer them. Now, keep in mind we've already answered some of these, but let's look at this DBQ right here. Okay, for example, this one, evaluate the extent to which the progressive movement fostered political change in the United States from 1890 to 1920. That was an actual DBQ that we wrote, right? We most of the DBQs that we've done have been from past tests. But let's look at the LEQ. If you were given a choice, because on the exam, you have 3 LEQs that you have to choose from. This is why the AP paper that we use says number 1 mandatory. So if you were writing the mandatory DBQ, you would have circled that on your page. But then it says optional 2, 3, or 4. So looking at these prompts right here, which one would you choose? Let me read them. Number 2 says evaluate the extent to which the ideas of self-government influenced American colonial reaction to British imperial authority in the period 1754 to 1776. Or would you have chosen evaluate the extent to which the debates over slavery in the period 1830 to 1860 led to the United States into civil war?
That's 2.
Or number 4, would you choose evaluate the extent to which ideas about democracy contributed to African American civil rights movement in the period 1940 to 1970.
3 is the most straightforward.
You want to ask yourself which one is the easiest, and I have don't be a hero. Okay, don't be a hero and say, oh, they probably want me to choose the hard one. I'm gonna save the world and choose. No, don't be dumb, okay? Don't be an idiot. Choose the one, and ladies and gentlemen, you might spend a couple of minutes on one of them and then hit a roadblock, and then maybe try to start planning for the other one. If you're planning, just write down things that come to your mind. When you see this topic, brainstorm. Okay, these just throw terms down. Okay, if you were choosing 3, this one is talking about debates over slavery led to civil war. So when you automatically see that, what comes to your mind?
Missouri Compromise.
Okay, Missouri Compromise? How Missouri Compromise? I feel like that was 40 years before.
Well, it still had effects to that because it...
Missouri Compromise is 1820 though, not 1830. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you only gave 2 facts, and one of the facts was Missouri Compromise, would you have gotten the 2-fact point? No. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's why you might want to do 3 facts if one of them is maybe outside a time period. Think about that. You have to be within the time period. So for this one, you would have had to have done maybe Compromise in 1850.
Kansas, Nebraska.
Maybe Kansas, Nebraska, maybe Kansas. Okay, Lincoln Douglas debates. Ooh, debates over slavery. Those are some great ones. I think the Compromise of 1850 would be really good because you have the pro-slavery legislation, like the Fugitive Slave Act, and you also have the anti-slavery part, like California being a free state. So you have things like that. But again, remember, it's evaluate the extent to which these led. So if it's a led prompt, is this a continuing change over time? Is it a causation? Or is it a compare and contrast essay? Causation. If you do not focus your essay on causation, you miss an easy point. You got to ask yourself, what type of essay am I having to write? I would maybe write in big words, oh, this is a causation prompt right here. Now, are all 3 of these causation prompts? The number 2, the first one, evaluate the extent to which ideas of self-government influenced American colonial reaction to British imperial authority in the period 1754 to to 1776. Is that a causation prompt? Okay, is it a compare and contrast prompt? No, it's not saying compare this to this, okay? Is it a continuity and change over time prompt? Not really, it's influenced, which is a causation prompt again, okay? So both of these are causation prompts. If you're not exactly sure what type of prompt it is, maybe consider choosing one of the other ones. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at the rubric, there's easy points to do. The first easy point is context. You can't just have a sentence as context. It needs to be a couple of sentences at least, not a merely passing phrase, but it needs some context that led up to the idea of your prompt. Okay? Number 4 here, evaluate the extent to which the ideas about democracy contributed to African American civil rights movement. Which one is that? Is that a comparison prompt?
Yeah. Wait. Could it be?
No. No. It's another causation because it's about contributing. These ideas contributed to this. These ideas caused this. So whenever, ladies and gentlemen, you see the term contributed, ask, oh, is this actually cause? When something contributes to something else, what do we say? When water contributes to your hair going more straight or curly? Straight?
Curly.
Straight, right? Curly?
Curly.
Is it curly?
Curly.
Okay. More curly. Okay.
That's
That's cause. Okay. So keep in mind that's cause. Let's look at some other LEQs. That was 2019. Let's look at 2018. Oh yeah, this one. We had the stinky meat scandal picture there. That was pretty fun. Upton Sinclair's shocking portrayal of the slaughterhouses. All right, let's look at this one. Number 2 says, evaluate the extent to which the commercial exchange system, such as mercantiles, fostered change in the British North American economy in the period 1660 to 1775. Ooh. Number 3, evaluate the extent to which the Civil War fostered change in the United States economy in the period 1861 to 1900. Does that one look familiar?
We did it today.
Yeah, that was a 2018 option there. Which one would you have chosen? Would you have chosen number 2, number 3, or number 4? Evaluate the extent to which scientific and technological innovation changed the United States economy in the period 1950 to 200. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what do these 3 have in common? What do these 3 have in common?
Change in economy.
Well done. They all have to do with economy. So economy was a big thing in 2018, okay? But then also you have the idea of evaluate the extent to change. All of them have the word change. Question.
Do they always give you like the 3 time periods? Like the options?
They give you 3 options to choose from for an LEQ.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? Awesome? Yeah. So when it comes to the, let's remember, when it comes to the DBQ, do you get to pick your prompt? No. So if your prompt in 2018 was on imperialism, evaluate the relative importance of different causation, for the expanding role of the United States in the world. Okay? You had to write on that one. When it came to the short answer questions, question number 1, you had to write on. Question number 2, you had to write on. Question 3 or 4, you got a choice. So you would have had to write on this one, okay? Briefly describe one major difference, describe one specific event, and then briefly describe another historical event of the other person, right? And then this picture right here, looking at the picture and deciphering it. That's a short answer question. Then you get a choice. Question 3 or 4. Do I want to do the one on 1500 to 1750? Or do I want to do the one on 1941 to 1980 compared to 1910 to 1940? Again, do the one that you can get the most points. Okay? So you you have to do the first 2 short answer questions. Then you get to choose 3 or 4. Then you have your break after the multiple choice and the 3 short answer questions that you answered. Then you get time to write the DBQ. And actually you get an hour and 40 minutes for that next section. And they suggest an hour for the DBQ and 40 minutes for the LEQ. Okay? When you're done with your DBQ, can you then jump over to your LEQ, and then if you're done with your LEQ, jump back over to your DBQ? Technically, you can. It's in the same booklet, okay? You're technically allowed to. It's not suggested because you're bouncing back and forth your neurons and everything of what you're focusing on. It's not suggested, but if you have the time, then you can. There you go. Any questions on that? Look at those 3 prompts. Which one would you have done? Maybe number 3? Civil War, foster change.
You don't get to choose on the DBQ, right? They just give it to you?
Correct. You don't choose on the DBQ.
But for the LEQ, is it always like... Is
3
it
choices.
Like a American Revolution type time period one? Like that huge span of time, and then like one in the middle and one near the present kind of type thing? I feel like that's what I just saw twice.
So great question. When it comes to what they want you to write on, a lot of times there will be a similar theme that all 3 of them have. Like, for example, the last one had to do with economy. Okay, so you had to be fairly good on economy. But you get to pick your time period. And you're right, the first one is going to be anything from period 2 or 3. So colonialism or American Revolution. The next one will be on period 4 to 5. There's no writing on period 1 or period 9. Okay?
Is period 9 to the present?
Period 9 is Reagan to the present. Ronald Reagan to the present. There will be some multiple choice questions on Clinton. Some multiple choice questions on George H.W. Bush, Bush 41. Some multiple choice questions on Reagan, but not very many. Okay? Only about 6% of the multiple choice would be that era.
Oh yeah, they have to give you multiple choice because it's got a percentage.
Yes, that is correct. That is
so
correct.
You could honestly maybe calculate how much.
Yeah, and there's people that do. So this example this was a little bit older. This is 2017. This was when they only gave you 2 LEQs to choose from, and you had to write 1. Now they give you 3 LEQs to choose from. Okay, isn't it nice that things keep getting a little bit more doable? This right here, it used to be that you had to write 1 DBQ and 2 LEQs you had to write on, but there was no short answer question. Okay, and it was pretty challenging. All right, but you didn't have any choice either. Evaluate the extent to which the American Revolution marked a turning point in women's lives in the United States. This one, there used to be this historical skill of periodization, but they don't do that anymore. Evaluate the extent to which the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, which guaranteed women the right to vote, marked a turning point in the United States women's history. Did these prompts have to do with a common theme? What? Not the economy, but women. Very good. So the LEQs will usually have a similar theme to them. What do you think the next LEQ themes are going to be?
We're guessing?
I mean, could be migration. Oof. That's kind of a challenging one.
Isn't that similar to
Migration and immigration, sure. Yeah. But if it's a time period that you're comfortable with, then go with it.
Wouldn't it more be like social stuff though? I feel like they would
Cultural?
one.
You think cultural?
I think they throw it out.
Yeah.
Like social stuff where it's gonna be all like.
But I feel like that's not emphasized.
Yeah.
It might be also economy because there's all this stuff coming out. Like,
People try to say that whatever's happened in the last year is what the DBQ writers and the LEQ writers are thinking about.
I feel like they expect you to think that.
But yeah, I mean, I used to predict all the time, but I'm kind of done predicting. They have not done an Andrew Jackson DBQ or LEQ in a long time. Could you write on Andrew Jackson?
Possibly, yes.
If you cannot write on Andrew Jackson, that's a problem. Okay?
There's so much to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about Andrew Jackson. Trail of Tears, Trail of Tears, Trail of Tears is easy and helpful. But you need to remember the Supreme Court, and all that different stuff. What about Alexander Hamilton? Have they had one on like the Federalists versus the Anti-Federalists in a while? How well do you know your constitutional history? The Federalist Papers, right? Good stuff.